Okay, so today we're gonna have a talk about transparency, nah? Chris Kirkpatrick. Anyone watching this video probably has no idea who that is, but I'm sure you guys know this guy. Yep, these guys and 3 other group members did AKA and Casper's whole career combined in one day. Okay, I'm kidding. It was 1 week. So Chris Kirkpatrick contacted different agencies in the United States and found Justin Timberlake and JC Chazes, who were part of the Mickey Mouse Club, and started a singing group by the name of NSYNC. Chris would contact his friend Joey Fatone, and through mutual acquaintances found Lance Bass. They would sign a record deal with a weird airline service turned record label, Transcontinental, owned by an acquaintance of Chris, Lou Pearlman. Lou would put the group to work, renting out a house, putting all the boys together to gain chemistry, taking them to dance studios for dance rehearsals, recording them in Shaq's studio, and connecting them to German record companies to give them international fame. They were initially struggling to find a fan base within the US. The label even got the group to hate their label mates, manufacturing a beef between the two groups. The label even gave the group a $35 daily stipend to spend on food. In a move resembling Casper's hosting of the Bryce Show after AKA, NSYNC would perform on a Disney special that the Backstreet Boys declined. Well, that was a bad move, because the special being repeated multiple times every day on the Disney Channel helped rocket the group's album to #2 on the Billboard charts and making the once average Backstreet Boys copy become a worldwide sensation. Yo, shout out to my Uncle Scooby, man. NSYNC was my shit growing up. You tearing up my heart when I'm with you. So yeah, Lou Pearlman, the owner of the independent record label Transcontinental, he would invite the boys and their parents to Lowry's, which was a high-class restaurant in LA. This is the meeting where the boys would be receiving their first check since joining the group. Okay, let me pause right here, okay? So these guys are killing it right now. How much do you think they'd get after selling millions of copies? $100,000 each? $500,000 each? Maybe even $1 million? So the 5 envelopes are handed out and the envelopes are opened. Turns out all the hotels that they were sleeping at while touring, they were not free. It turns out the petrol that they were using on the bus that they hired for the tour was not free. It turns out all the dinners, choreographers, studio sessions, international trips were not free. It also turns out that the $35 stipend, that was not free either. All that money had to be paid back to Transcontinental, including a percentage of the profits from the group, resulting in a $10,000 check being paid to each artist. But that wasn't even the worst part. The biggest betrayal came when the group had a harder look at their contracts. Lou Pearlman had added himself as the 6th man in the group, meaning whatever amount that they would be making would be split not 5, but 6 ways. Because of this clear failure of transparency, NSYNC would leave Lou's record label and sign with Jive Records, titling their album No Strings Attached, alluding to their breakup from Lou, and selling 2.4 million copies in the first week. Yeah, AKA and Kiss. Labels, yeah. Lou Pearlman would then be the face of every bad notion people would have about record labels. He also went on to start making the band. What does it take to make an artist? This is the goal of every single record label in the world. Making an artist that can bring profits and make an impact at the same time is the point of the music business in general.
A song could be cut for as little as $1,200. The financial rewards for a hit, astronomical.
I believe that we have 5 sectors that have to be fulfilled in order to make a successful artist. Now look at this diagram. You see it? It's a nice diagram, ne? It's very nice. So like the video, dude. I worked hard on this. Are you still looking, bro? Like the video. And then also press subscribe. Subscribe. Remember when I said in my last video that Kamumpela was a rapper? Well, listen to this song and tell me you don't think you just hear rappers on an amapiano beat.
Bit blurry though, the people we spending though, the bag we be swiping though. Hey, I got no times on my hand. Cut self I get self So, live a little, breathe a little, do this and that. Don't overdose, cut self vibe. Take one, leave two for later, I mean two live for later. For later. Take one, leave two for later, I mean two live for later. For later.
I got time on my hands. It's cut self vibe.
Yo, shout out to the entrepreneurs for proving my point. The link is in the description below. Konji, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the 5 facets of being an artist. Let's start with creative input. Pretty much self-explanatory. This is the actual music or the initial product sold by the artist or the record label. Now, if we do the math, this is about 20% of the job. We'll come back to that a bit later. Marketing and promotion. This includes interviews, merchandise, appearances, and story. It's usually monetized with merch sales to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Distribution. Now remember this one. This is an important one. I'll bundle this up with like sales and streaming and licensing. Touring, well, it's in the name. The big money maker. Show bookings and gigs, you know the drill, yada yada yada. Publishing. Publishing has to do with the usage of your music / intellectual property in other pieces of media. Now, if you want to be a successful artist, you have to make sure that all these facets have been covered. A lot of people seem to think that just because an artist made the song, that they deserve 80% of the money made from the song. And to those people, I say, how many of you have cousins or are artists yourselves that are going triple iron mazenke on their mother's headphones only? And by that logic, you should also believe that actual miners should be gold billionaires. Yeah, indabanya pop. The public isn't privy to seeing situations where Kanye is standing at a radio station for 4 hours speaking to 3 compilers to play the artist's song every day.
I remember being on radio tour in Mpumalanga with an artist. We were there, and so he's doing his interview and stuff. The compiler and the producer of the show were on me the whole time, trying to touch me, trying to do all of these weird things. The difficult thing about that, the line that you walk is so tough because I know myself. I just want to be like, no, and like I just want to quickly just shut that thing down now. But I can't because I'm gonna need you there. So I have to always, find a nice way to put it when I don't want it, because you're not being nice.
They don't see many on the phone for 2 to 3 hours every day, speaking to 13 promoters or going to lunches and school productions in order to make sure that the artist gets booked, or figuring out which venue to book on which dates and hiring the EMTs and alcohol license, etc., organizing shows for the artist.
Is one of the other key components to what a booking agent does, which means essentially you're soliciting and continuously pitching artists to talent buyers throughout the country. That's a significant aspect of what a booking agent is going to be doing on a day-to-day basis. They're going to be constantly contacting them via phone, email, or any other method to try to secure the book.
They also don't see Mike making sure for 6 hours a day that your song is being heard by the people who may use it in their movies or adverts, and negotiating deals and making sure that they don't piss off the advertiser or composer who would like to use the music later. Also, Mike has to watch every single TV show, YouTube video, and live event to make sure that the artist's song is not being used unfairly. If an artist is able to do the job of an artist, Kanye's job, Mike's job, and Manny's job, then that is the true definition of being independent. Now, that's almost completely impossible. The only thing you can do is then hire people to do all of that for you and your music company. God, that needs chankura, my bro. So let's have a look at GrimmVillePictures' bank account right now. Yeah, exactly. Artists have become smarter because of the wealth of information online and resources available to artists before signing a deal. Artists are very wary of signing normal record label deals because for the first time in history, artists actually understand the contracts they read. So artists want situations where they get to make way more decisions as to what they're willing to give away. Enter AfriCori. So I've been on the internet for the better part of about 3 days, and I still don't understand the difference between a record label and a company offering record label services. Some websites will try to simplify it down to the fact that the artist pays the company a fee as opposed to offering up a percentage of sales of their music. However, I found a few articles referencing the licensing of music offered by artists to the company, also taking a percentage of the music for distribution services. The most important difference I've found, however, is the ownership of masters. This is a two-part video, and I want to delve more into the topic of masters and ownership in part 2 of the series. But the short of it is that artists can keep the ownership of their master recordings. The thing is though, Chris Brown and 21 Savage have normal label deals while retaining the ownership of their masters. Don't ask me what that means. Around 2018, Drake was rumored to be signing directly with Apple after reaching free agency when he dropped his last album under contract, More Life. The issue seems like as much as Apple seemed likely to sign him, they didn't actually have the proper foundation to host an artist completely on their platform. Enter Platoon. You know this chick, Moss.
Pooping is my favorite part of the day. There was one day I pooped 8 times. That was the best day of my life. And they were all solid, good poops too. Like no like bullshit poops, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't like, I'm done. I wasn't also like...
Yeah, she was the first artist to really make it to superstardom through this new type of deal that was the label services deal. What baffles me is that she still went on to sign a major label deal. So if anyone has a better understanding of why she did this, let me know down in the comments. These are the same guys that signed a deal with A. Reese. Platoon would open offices in South Africa where they would face stiff competition with an already established label services company, AfriCori. Started by Yoel Kenan, AfriCori is a digital music distribution company offering label services to independent artists in sub-Saharan Africa. AfriCori works with both independent artists and labels. One of their biggest major successes was with, you know this chick, Moz.
Some man I act rough like John Cena. Some man I get rough like John Cena. He used to be cool when I used to come cool. Now you wanna act rough like John Cena.
Who was signed to Fax. Fax is also behind Tyler. Industry plot. Quote unquote independent artists have decided to flock to these type of deals, including your boy Blxckie. You see, it wasn't clickbait. The key word that I used in the last section had to do more with deals. These deals have a new name. In fact, they are being called label services, but it seems like it's one and the same thing, just with a different payment method. The factors I mentioned above can literally be broken into separate companies. The label services have become way more transparent in the way they do things, allowing artists to pick and choose which parts they need help with. However, that taints the name of independence. If an artist can fulfill the 5 sectors above on their own and have a successful career, then good for them. However, I'm yet to find an artist who can do this on a low budget, because Kanye, Manny, and Mike deserve to be paid close to, if not the same amount as an artist, if they work just as hard. This actually means that artists would be taking home 25 to 30% of their earnings anyway if they stay independent and pay those guys to do it. The next best option would be to sign a deal. Now, it's up to the artist what kind of deal they need, but then they would immediately be given up the moniker of being independent. But ask yourself though, is it worth it being known as independent only to take home a fraction of what you could be earning signing these kind of deals? Would you rather earn 100% of 50,000 independently, which you have to split with your manager, distributor, merchandiser, Facebook promoters, petrol, and a lawyer, or earn 25% of 1 million where the 75% has already been split for you transparently? The choice is yours.
Bitch, I am broke. I ain't gon' trip. I show my Nikes, you ask for the whip. Had to pay rent. Told my landlord, little bitch, I spend all that shit on my drip. Suck on my dick, I bust on your lip. Do that little shit where you bounce on my D. I stepped in this beat with 2 fake IDs. My name's all I need, like doobie doobie. Smoke on my weed, doobie. I'm higher than canopy seasonal trees.